Hello everyone, welcome to Rockstar Gaming. My name is Eric. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of another expansion for Marvel United Multiverse, this time taking a look at the Annihilation expansion. So we've got the box right here, we've got Annihilus right over here, Quasar, Nova Prime, Moondragon, and I don't remember that character's name. We'll take a look at the back of the box here in just a second and take a look at that. But there is the side of the box there, the side of the box. We've got the top of the box, we've got the bottom of the box, and then right over here we've got the back of the box going over a little bit of the storyline right here. Crossing over from the negative zone came the Annihilation wave, a vast army commanded by Annihilus bent on conquering the positive matter universe. Trying to hold off the invasion, the Nova Corps was destroyed. Richard Rider, the only surviving Nova, is joined by Quasar, Moondragon, and Vel. That's the character I did not know. These cosmic champions must stand united against the Annihilation wave. So again, we got Nova Prime right here, Quasar, Moondragon, Phalavale, and Annihilus here. Nova Prime, we already have a Nova in the, I think it's in the stretch goal box of Season 1, but we're now getting the original Richard Rider version of Nova in this box. So we're going to take a look at this one, open her up, and take a look inside. Now, admittedly, as you can probably already tell, I'm not the biggest reader of Marvel Cosmic. Not that I'm not a fan of Marvel Cosmic, but I never actually have read through Annihilation or Annihilation Conquest. I know one of the big things from those books is the birth of the modern Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually have almost an entire run, because it was given to me at some point when I was a kid, of the original Guardians of the Galaxy with like Vance Astro and Charlie 27, all those characters, but I've actually never gone through and read through modern Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen the movies and everything, and I've seen appearances of those characters in newer comics and whatnot, but I've never actually sat down and read through Annihilation. Let me know in the comments if that is something I should go ahead and do before we go through and play through this expansion at a later date. But let's go ahead and open this up right there and place that right there. And so we've got Welcome to Annihilation. So this expansion adds 4 cosmic characters and interdimensional villain, new locations, and a new complications challenge. So we'll take a look at all that here in a minute. We've got the setup right here for the complications challenge, special rules, optional rules for veterans, compatibility, complications challenge cannot be used in team versus team or player versus player mode. So team versus team versus team is basically X-Men Gold Team and Blue Team, so that's not going to work in here. And player versus player mode is, I believe, what is Civil War essentially is. Complications should only be used in supervillain mode if the hero players are considerably more experienced than the villain player. So there's that. And then we do talk about locations with the Harvester of Sorrows and Nova Corps headquarters. Looks like they are going to get their own tokens, which we have right here. These are the tokens that come with it. Nova Corps headquarters is in play during setup. Keep the 6 Nova Corps tokens within reach of the player, so we got those. And then Harvester of Sorrows. Players may use the Harvester of Sorrow location to increase the game difficulty. If the Harvester of Sorrow is in play during setup, keep 3 charge tokens within reach of the player. So that is what this is. We've already shown that off, so we don't need to show those off any longer. Let's go ahead and open up this part right here and take a look at our locations. Looks like we got another 4 locations is what we got here. Let's see. Yeah, 4 locations is what we are going to have in this one. Alright, take that off right there, and let's take a look at our locations. Now, none of these I really know too much about, again, because I don't read through Marvel Cosmic at all. We've got Arthros right there. And then, of course, we've got the Nova Corps headquarters right there. And then we've got the Harvester of Sorrow. Does have a negative effect at the end of each villain turn. Add 1 charge token here. Where there are, when there are 3 charge tokens here, discard them, draw a master playing card, and add it face down in the storyline. So it's basically just accelerating the villain villain's master plan right there. So that's pretty interesting. And then finally we've got Krelar right here. So we've got those locations. So those are going to be our 4 Annihilation locations with their own specific Annihilation branding right there. Then we've got Annihilus as our sole villain. He is going to have a special setup. Arthros must be the villain's starting location, so it is a location that you do have to have in the game, and there is the other side of the Annihilus dashboard right there. So we'll place that there, and then we do have a single pack of cards that we will take a look at, and it does have the setup rules in here for the Annihilation challenge, for the Complications challenge right there. So let's get this opened up here. I don't know why my voice just cracked like that, so we'll throw that down there, throw that down there, move that there. So we do have the Complications challenge right there. Even with, I know this top camera is not the best, but even with that, the word Complications challenge is kind of hard to read with that purple. Set up at up to 4 random complication cards to the master plan deck, 1 each after the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th cards. As soon as the complications card is at the top of the deck, place it face up near the play area and immediately apply its effects. Complication cards remain in effect until they're discarded when condition is met. Multiple complication cards may be in effect at the same time. So this is an example of the cards, and the back of the card does look like that. And then hired thugs. So we've got hired thugs, too much to handle, kidnap, prison break. So there's a lot of different cards here for that. That's going to be an example of like the hired thugs one. So we've got that going on right there. And if you've been following the channel for any amount of time, you know that we just did a big giant campaign last year going over all the different updates of DC Superheroes United. The complication cards look like they're the same ones, or probably going to be the same ones that were basically just given as a stretch goal in DC Superheroes United. So if you are looking forward to that game and you do get your hands on the Annihilation expansion for Marvel United, then these, you're basically going to be playing with those cards. So there is that to think about as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. We've got Annihilus's Master Plan deck with his threat cards. Then we are going to have the character that I can't think of the name at all of. We've got Moondragon right here. We've got Quasar with a few different cards. We've got Richard Rider right here, the Nova Prime. So we do have some interesting things, just me fanning out these cards. Looks like a few of our heroes are going to have bottom of the deck cards, which I think the main, going through all these different expansions and these videos and everything, I don't think we've seen anybody with that yet in this one. I want to say Superior Spider-Man has a bottom of the deck cards in Spider-Geddon. So let's go ahead and take a look at Annihilus real quick. He's going to have negative zone invasion, bring 1 random cleared threat back into play in the next clockwise location without a threat if possible. So we got that going on there, so that's pretty neat. I got another one of those, another one of those, another one of those. So he's going to have a few of those. Looks like he's got 4 of that card, and then he's going to have a few probably copies of Continuous Rebirth. When Annihilus would be defeated, he immediately gains 2 health for each face-up Continuous Rebirth card in the storyline. Move him to the opposite location, then turn 1 face-up Continuous Rebirth card in the storyline face down. So he's going to have 1, 2 of those. So he only has 2 of those in his deck. The rest of his deck is going to be just random move, bam, civilian, or thug cards right there. And all of his other cards do have different movements and stuff on them for that. His threat cards, he's going to have Ravenous, which is bam, deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this and adjacent location. So he's got that right there. And then Annihilation Wave, looks like he has 2 copies of that. Each thug in this location requires 2 damage to be defeated, each civilian in this location requires 1 extra heroic action to be rescued. So we see a lot of cards with that on there in threats, but we usually see 1 effect on one and 1 effect on another, not both of them combined. So the fact that you're getting a double whammy from the threat cards is pretty interesting. And then we're going to have 3 copies of Annihilus Seekers right here. Bam, deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location. That hero takes 1 extra damage if they have at least 1 face-up hero card with special effects in the storyline. So it would behoove you almost to get these guys taken care of before you throw down your special effect cards, it seems. So we've got that going on. We're going to start with this character, Phala Vale. Why I cannot remember that, I have no idea. She does have 1 starting hand card, which is the Nega Bands. Gain 2 heroic tokens. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you may discard any number of heroic tokens to prevent the same amount of damage dealt to you. So we got that going right there. And then we are going to have energy absorption, gain 1 heroic token. So how many of those we got? At least 2 of those. And then we are going to have a quantum sword, double punch against a single target in your location. So we got that and another one, and that is going to be it for her specials. I do like the artwork on that one though. That is pretty cool. So, alright, so we've got that character there. Again, it's probably someone's favorite. I apologize. We got Moon Dragon right here. She's going to have psychic powers. You may look at the Master Plan deck, set aside 1 card, shuffle the remaining, and then put the card at the bottom of the deck. So, again, this is another Master Plan deck manipulation card. So instead of just like looking at the top and then throwing it on the bottom, you're basically looking at the top, or you're taking out the top Master Plan card, shuffling everything, and then throwing this just on the bottom, or that one on the bottom. So that's pretty interesting take on that. We've got psionic powers. This turn, you can use the symbols at the bottom of the 2 previous hero cards of the storyline instead of only the previous one. So that's good, giving you a little bit more diversity in your card selection. Mind control, flip up to 2 thugs or 2 civilians in your location. So basically turning thugs into civilians, civilians into thugs in some kind of combination. So I guess that's good if you need to change the board for some reason. If you're trying to go for thugs and you don't have any thugs on the board, you can play that card, get some thugs on the board, and then take them out. Choose telepathy. Choose another hero. They may swap any number of cards in their hand with the same number of their cards in the storyline. So if you're someone in your party has at least all 3 of their cards, they can basically just refresh their hand completely with stuff on there. Psionic boost. This turn you may forfeit any number of actions to distribute the corresponding tokens from the pool among other heroes. That's nice. And then that is going to be all of her cards right there, and I think we've pretty much seen all this artwork. So that is pretty nice. Then we've got Quasar here. Quasar has a starting hand card, the Quantum Bands. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you cannot use wild tokens, and once during each of your turns, you may forfeit 1 action to gain 1 wild token. So there is that. You can't use wild tokens, but once during each of your turns, you may forfeit 1 action to gain 1 wild token. That's a little interesting. I wonder how the rest of his cards look. Quantum Construct. Draw 1 card if you do, and Quantum Bands is face up in the storyline, which right here. Discard 1 card and gain 1 wild token. So there's that. Next one, Quantum Construct, still have that. Quantum Construct, still have that. And so we're gaining a bunch of wild tokens that we can't use if we have the Quantum Bands on. If I'm reading that correctly. Someone in the comments correct me if you can. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, you cannot use wild tokens, and once during each of your turns, you may forfeit 1 action to gain 1 wild token. And then Quantum Construct, 3 copies of that, draw 1 card. If you do, and Quantum Bands is face up in the storyline, discard 1 card and gain 1 wild token. So basically each turn you could theoretically get a token, and then you can also get 3 more tokens from these cards, so you can be whatever. Okay, and then finally, Quasar, it says bottom of the deck card, Quantum Band's release. If Quantum Bands is face up in the storyline, turn it face down. So this is bottom of the hand, or bottom of the deck card right there. So it's always going to sit there. And then you basically play Quantum Bands. You can't use wild tokens the entire game until you're getting close to the end. I don't think, at least here on the channel, I don't think I've ever had a game necessarily go all the way to the point, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I can't remember any video we've done here. I don't think I've had a game specifically where I know for a fact that I was like at the bottom of the deck and not drawing cards anymore. But the fact that you can gain almost every turn, you know, so you can get like 5 or 6 or more tokens from that, 3 from the what were those cards called? 3 from the Quantum Construct cards already. Like, you can pile up wild tokens on your last turn, just go crazy with stuff. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how exactly I feel about that, but anyway, let's go ahead and go with Nova Prime here. Nova Force, wild in an adjacent location. So we got that going for us. And then Nova Force, wild in an adjacent location. And then we got Nova Force, wild in an adjacent location. That is going to be all of his regular cards, but he also has a bottom of the deck card right there, which is Nova Force Challenge. 3 wilds in an adjacent location, then you are KO'd. So that is interesting how that works out. So that is going to be all the cards for this expansion right here. So we've gone over essentially everything with the Complications Challenge and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and finally take a look at our villains. Take a look at Annihilation first. Looking pretty cool there. Yeah, not having read anything with Annihilation, but like knowing how much of a threat he was, I would kind of feel like this would be a slightly larger figure. Not talking about like Fing Fing Foom or anything like that, but just a little bit more imposing. And then we've got Nova Prime right here, and then Quasar right there. And then we've got Phala Vale right here. And then finally we've got Moon Dragon right there. I will have to say Quasar, probably my favorite figure in this set right here. But again, this is also just first impression, opening the box, seeing it for the first time, and how that goes. But yeah, that is everything in the box for Annihilation. So again, this is a Kickstarter exclusive expansion. So if you didn't get it from the Kickstarter, the only other way to get it legitimately is if a local gaming store that you go to also got the Kickstarter through that, and they have copies to sell there. So I would definitely try that first. But that is, again, everything in Marvel United Annihilation expansion. So if you enjoyed this particular unboxing and you want to see more of the unboxings that we have done, there should be a playlist down below in the description, as well as making sure you have notifications turned on to know when we're going to be putting out more of the expansions for this game, or more unboxings for the expansion for this Kickstarter release. I believe the next one we are going to be doing, since I have them stacked in order, is going to be Maximum Carnage. So I cannot wait for that. This is the Kickstarter exclusive version of that. So there's going to be a lot of extra goodies and whatnot in there. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and all that stuff. Help us grow the channel. And with that said, I have been Eric. This has been Rockshire Gaming. This has been the Annihilation expansion for Marvel United from Multiverse. And you guys have a good day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.